Okay, today I'm going to show you, I'm showcasing the stamp set called Sunshine by the Angel Company. This is the set. It has 2 large sunflowers and 2 sentiments. And I'm going to do a series of 3 videos on different coloring techniques. The first one is going to be the good old standby of Prismacolor pencils with mineral oil blending with blending stumps. This is what I keep my mineral oil in. I just soak a cotton ball with mineral oil and I put it in my little Tupperware container. Okay, this first color is called Dark Umber, and this particular sunflower, it pretty much is already telling you which way the sun is shining, so you'll know where to put your shadows. So I'm just going to go in and darken the areas a little bit. It's just, I'm a scribbler. I don't necessarily work in circles. I don't, it's not really planned out, if you know what I'm saying. So I go in with the dark umber, and I kind of add it here and there to add shadow and dimension and like texture in the rest for the rest of the flower center. Okay. Then I'm going to go in with dark brown. It's a little bit different. The umber is more of a black brown. This is more like a dark chocolate or something like that. I go ahead and I go over some of the areas that I've already done the dark umber, but then I go out a little bit too. I'm gonna add a little bit of Tuscan red, give it a little pop. It's more of a a reddish brown, and it just gives it a nice little highlight here and there. And you're probably thinking to yourself, Barb, do you really need to use all these freaking colors? Well, no, obviously not, but I am a fan of coloring. I typically am very slow, so this is probably going to be one long video, but hey. Okay, this is light umber, which is a milk chocolate brown almost. And we're going to go in and kind of blend the other areas a little bit more. I'm still leaving some white because when we go over it with the mineral oil, that'll give us some highlights, because it'll leave some white, not really white, but some lighter areas there. Okay, then I grab my blending stump, dip it in the old mineral oil, and you're probably wondering, mineral oil, really? You're not using mineral spirits like most people are OMS? I like the way this blends. It seems to move the color better than the mineral spirit, or I shouldn't say better, I should say easier. With a little bit of goldenrod, and this kind of adds some sunshiny spots. On to the petals. We are going to use mineral orange, and I'm going to go into the darkest spots, like where there would be shadow and the curvature of the petal. And I'm just going to add a little bit of this because we don't want it too orange after all. But it does add some nice depth to it. Wherever there's like a shadow line and the cup of the petal. Then I'm going to go in with goldenrod again, which is a lovely color. I use it a lot. Over that same spot, it's similar to like whenever you color with Copics, really, because you're kind of going over that same color and you're going to draw that orange out. And if you notice, I'm leaving the edges, the very, very edges of the petals alone, and that's where you're going to get your added depth, because we're going to come in with a really light, like a buttercup color for the petals there. And it's just going to bring that, it's just going to make it look even more curved. Okay, this is yellow ochre. There you go. You're going to go over the same thing, and we're just going to add a little bit just to get some of that orange out. Okay, finally, this is Jasmine. I'm just telling you what I'm using in case you want to duplicate it later. So we're going back over the outside tips of the petals. Remember how I was leaving all those white? So we're going back over most of it. And this is when the magic happens. Whenever you use these blending stumps, it gets rid of those pencil lines. So it gives you a much more polished and even blend. Oh, and you're probably wondering, Barb, doesn't the mineral oil leave like a film, you know, like a filmy or an oil sheen to it, to my image panel? And no, it doesn't. That's the beauty of it. So I am going to go back with the light umber, and I'm going to go in and just pick up those dark areas and give it some more depth. I'm taking the just my white Prisma, and I'm just going to just highlight an edge or two of these petals. I don't want to do the whole thing, but I do want to kind of add more highlight. And it doesn't add like this big, you know, smacking the face line of white. It's much more subdued. It's almost like it's blending it instead of whitening it, if that makes sense. Leaves, this is kelp green. I'm going to go in to the shadow spots, and I press fairly hard. What I'm doing is that I'm going down the veins of the leaf and the shadow that's already established from the stamp image. Now I'm going in with olive green, and I'm just kind of, again, going over what I just did and then out a little bit further. And this just adds another tone of green, just so it's not all, you know, flat with just like one big wash of green. How boring is that, right? Okay, then blender. And by leaving that white area, it basically, I'm adding a natural shade lighter for highlight in those areas. And all I'm doing is pressing a little bit lighter when I go over those white areas. Again, I'm taking the white, I'm just going to come in just a little. And it's just adding a little sheen to that leaf. Okay, kids, that's all I got. There it is. Zoom out. We have our nice, very clean and simple happiness card using Sunshine from the Angel Company. Prismacolors blended with mineral oil.